What's going on, everybody? Happy opening day. I know if you're watching this video, you are very excited to have baseball season back, as am I. Before we begin, please remember to like the video. Only takes 1 second, really helps out. Please remember to subscribe if you're new here. It would mean the world to me. I cover basketball, baseball, and football on this channel, so if you love sports, this is a place for you. Also, please remember to hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my future videos. And I'm going Griffey style for this video. I'm wearing the hat backwards. So let's get into it with my predictions. Cue the intro. Let's go. So, when I made my NBA predictions, yeah, it looks like all of those are aging poorly, except at least LaMelo Ball winning Rookie of the Year is one that is only going to go wrong because of an injury. But hopefully these don't go so wrong, at least for the most part. But let's begin. So, for the MVP, I'm going to go with the safe pick for the American League and go with Mike Trout. As much as I really want to go with Aaron Judge, I'm just not confident that he's really going to stay healthy for a full season. If he can though, then he definitely could win the MVP. It's just a matter of if he can stay healthy, but I think the safer pick would be Mike Trout. And for the National League, I was going back and forth between Christian Yelich and Mookie Betts, or even Juan Soto, honestly. But I think that I'm going to go with Mookie Betts here. So yeah, going both LA here. I know Anaheim isn't actually Los Angeles, but whatever. Now for the Cy Young Award, I'm going both New York on this one. Garrett Cole and Jacob deGrom are winning the Cy Young Award. And then for Rookie of the Year, now, I'm going to be honest, I'm not exactly the expert on prospects, but just from what I've been reading up on before making this video, sounds like it's going to be Jared Kelenic and Ke'Bryan Hayes. And Hank Aaron Award, yeah, also Mike Trout and Mookie Betts. Well, I could see a scenario where Christian Yelich wins Hank Aaron Award, or if Juan Soto wins it, but Mookie Betts still wins the MVP. But I'm going to go with Mookie Betts. And Relief Pitcher of the Year, I want to pick Chapman, but alright. I'm going to go with Nick Anderson and Josh Hader. For Manager of the Year, now for the American League, there's no real clear-cut favorite here, but if I have to pick, I think I'm going to go with Kevin Cash here. I think that just for the Rays to make the playoffs with Blake Snell and Charlie Morton gone, that should help his narrative. And as much as I hate him, I do think he's a smart manager, other than the fact that he does baby his pitchers. But if the White Sox do win the AL Central convincingly, then we got to give it to Tony La Russa. But if I really have to pick, I'm going to go with Kevin Cash. And for the National League, I think this one's a much easier choice. Jace Tingler. Now I'm going to go over where each team is going to be by the end of the season in the standings. I'm going to go by division. I'm not going to predict records though. I'm just going to go by where each team is going to be in the standings. So first I'm going to go with the AL East. I mean, why not, right? Because, you know, I'm a huge Yankees fan. So with no bias whatsoever, yeah, Yankees are going to win the AL East. So it's going to be Yankees, Rays, Blue Jays, Red Sox, and Orioles. I mean, we can all expect the Orioles to be trash, right? And the Red Sox, sure, they're not going to be as bad as the Orioles, but I don't think that they're really going to be that competitive. I mean, sure, they got Adam Ottavino, who, like I said, he didn't have as bad of a season as his ERA would indicate. It was just a couple bad games that really skyrocketed his ERA. And they still have Rafael Devers, Xander Bogaerts, and Alex Verdugo is a good player. He's just no Mookie Betts. But still though, I forgot, they also still have JD Martinez, who, yeah, he had a down year last year, but so did a lot of guys. So the Red Sox, like, okay, they're not going to be the worst team in the league, but I definitely don't see them being competitive either. And the Blue Jays, yeah, they have the hitting, but they just don't have the pitching, and they lost Kirby Yates to Tommy John surgery this year. Hoping for all the best for Kirby Yates. And the Yankees are just loaded offensively. Oh yeah, and the Rays, yes, they're going to take a step back after losing Blake Snell and Charlie Morton, but it's not like they're going to be that much worse. They're going to be worse, but they're not going to sink to the bottom because of that. They still have Randy Arozarena. They still have Austin Meadows. Kevin Kiermaier is a great defensive outfielder, not so much a great hitter. They still have Brandon Lau. So yeah, and Tyler Glasnow is also someone who we should be looking out for. Yes, I know that the 4.08 ERA last year, but he also had a very high K rate, so we'll have to see with him. And also, Chris Archer's back. We'll have to see if he can return to peak form or not. But the Yankees, yeah, they're just loaded offensively. Even though Luke Voigt's going to miss a month, they got Jay Bruce to fill in that hole at first base. And of course, he's not going to be an all-star by any means, but at least they have someone to play first base, and that guy's name is not Chris Carter. And they have arguably the best pitcher in the American League, my pick to win the Cy Young Award. First Yankee since Roger Clemens to win the award, although I don't think Roger Clemens actually deserved it in 2001. That's for another discussion. And Corey Kluber and Jameson Taillon. I haven't actually really paid attention to spring training, to be honest, but from what I hear, they're looking pretty good. And Luis Severino, when he comes back, of course, I don't expect 2017 or first half of 2018 Luis Severino after he just had Tommy John surgery, but I expect him to at least be serviceable. And Domingo Germán, yeah, I know with all the off-field stuff, but as long as he's not a distraction. And Jordan Montgomery at the back end of the rotation, I'm liking it. Oh, and we definitely can't forget how elite their bullpen is. Then we got to go into the AL Central now. I was having a really tough time picking between the White Sox and the Twins, but they're obviously going to be the top two teams in the AL Central, followed by the Indians, Royals, and Tigers. I looked at FanGraph before I recorded this, and FanGraphs ranked the White Sox starting rotation higher than the Twins, so okay, I guess I'll just roll with that. But we'll also have to see if Tony La Russa can still manage after not having done it for 10 years. And the Twins, yeah, they have a good team. Jose Barrios, Jorge Polanco, Josh Donaldson, Max Kepler, Byron Buxton. Yeah, the Twins do have a good squad. But, you know, the White Sox, honestly, like, this is a really tough one, but I think I'm going to go with the White Sox. At least according to FanGraphs has them having the better rotation, so alright, I'll just roll with that. And hey, aside from them, they have Jose Abreu, Tim Anderson, Luis Robert, Eloy Jimenez, they got Liam Hendricks and Lance Lynn in the offseason. Who, yeah, there are people saying that they're getting overpaid, but they're definitely going to make the team better, that's for sure. But okay, I'm going to go with the White Sox here. Now, the Indians, yes, losing Francisco Lindor is going to hurt a lot. However, they still have great pitching. They still have Shane Bieber and Zach Plesac, and they added Eddie Rosario, who has raked at Progressive Field for his career, and they also have Cesar Hernandez, so I don't think that they're going to be bad. I just don't think that they're going to be good enough to make the playoffs. At least they're not going to make the playoffs with the regular format, which apparently that's what we're going back to now. And we'll talk about that later. For the AL West, yeah, I hate to do this, but the Astros are going to win the division, followed by the A's, Angels, Mariners, and Rangers. I still don't respect the Astros at all, though, but they're not going to fall off a cliff like that. The 2020 playoffs definitely should have told you that, but we can definitely expect them to take a step back without George Springer and Justin Verlander. They still have most of their core players together, and Christian Javier showed a lot of promise last year. And I really want the Angels to make the playoffs. I'm not even an Angels fan, but I just really want to see Mike Trout in the playoffs. And they got him some protection last year with Anthony Rendon, but they still just don't have the pitching. Hopefully Shohei Ohtani can step it up on the mound. From what I hear, he's been hitting pretty well in spring training, but he's really their only hope on the mound. And I don't think Dylan Bundy is going to really do what he did last year for a full season. And the Rangers, outside of Joey Gallo, yeah, they're just trash. And the Mariners, like, okay, they have Jared Kelenic and they have Evan White, but yeah, they're just not ready to make that next step or even close to it. And I'm sure James Paxton is going to be on the move at the deadline. Considering he's only a one-year deal, yeah, I could definitely see it happening. Now let's move on to the National League. So I got the Mets, Braves, Nationals, Phillies, and Marlins in that order. And man, does it really pains me to have the Phillies as the fourth place team, because Joe Girardi and Didi Gregorius, those are my guys, but they still really need to improve their bullpen. Archie Bradley and Jose Alvarado are definitely upgrades to their bullpen, but I don't think that's going to be enough. And they're also in a tough division, and outside of Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler, they really have nothing in their rotation. And the Marlins, yeah, they impressed us in a 60-game season last year, but I just don't think that they're quite ready to do it for a full 162-game season. And I know, as much as I've been high on the Mets, don't worry, I'm aware that the Braves still have a dangerous lineup, and they were in the NLCS last year. They still have Freddie Freeman, Ronald Acuna, Ozzie Albies, Max Fried, and they added Charlie Morton, and hey, Travis d'Arnaud has become pretty damn good for the Braves. But just keep in mind that the Mets led the league in WRC Plus last year without Francisco Lindor. I know it's strange for a team that couldn't even make the playoffs with an expanded playoffs, but I do think in a full season the Mets would have done better last year. Coming from a Yankees fan, by the way. And the Mets also have the better starting pitching with Jacob deGrom and Carlos Carrasco. Noah Syndergaard and Marcus Stroman are question marks because they missed all of last season due to injury, but they're top two guys in their rotation. That's going to really boost the Mets in my opinion. And the Nationals being a third place team, they're not going to be a bad third place team though, but they're just in a really tough division. Like, even though they don't have Rendon anymore, they still have Juan Soto, who's an absolute beast, Trey Turner, Max Scherzer. And yeah, Max Scherzer had a down year in 2020, but his stuff was still really good. He was just a victim of a short season. We can expect him to still be a really good pitcher in 2021. And they also still have Steven Strasburg, Patrick Corbin, and they added John Lester and Brad Hand. But still, I just don't see them being better than the Mets or the Braves. On to the NL Central, and between the Cardinals and Brewers, I had a tough time picking here, but I'm going with the Brewers over the Cardinals, then the Cubs, Reds, and Pirates. I'm pretty sure I did say in my Nolan Arenado video that the NL Central is the Cardinals' division to lose. Well, I'm going to take that back now. Yes, the Cardinals are going to be pretty good this season, but I think that the Brewers are going to be better. Like, Christian Yelich, he's definitely going to return to MVP form. He's definitely going to be in the MVP conversation. Like, even though his numbers for the whole season were bad, it was mostly due to him starting off the season so poorly, and his baseball savant numbers are actually really impressive. And they also recently got Jackie Bradley Jr., and he's most certainly going to be a defensive upgrade over Avisail Garcia. We'll have to see which version of Jackie Bradley we're going to see at the plate. From 2017 to 19, he was not a good hitter at all, but last year he hit really well. Also, according to Fangraphs, the Brewers have the deeper rotation than the Cardinals, and the Brewers also have Josh Hader in their bullpen, so I'm gonna roll with the Milwaukee Brewers here. Even though the fact that the Cardinals were able to get Nolan Arenado for basically nothing, yes, that was a very impressive move. And the Cubs, yeah, they had a rough offseason, but with what they have now, they still have Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, Javi Baez. Yes, Javi Baez had a horrendous 2020 season, but I don't expect him to be anything close to that bad in a full 162 game season. But they very well could be sellers at the deadline. Same with the Reds, and we know the Pirates are in for a long season. Now on to the NL West. Here's where we could potentially see two 100-win teams in the same division. I'm going with the Dodgers in first place, of course. They're the defending champions, and they added Trevor Bauer, and they were able to keep Justin Turner. I didn't expect them to keep Justin Turner, but they managed to do it. So yeah, Dodgers are in first place. As great of an offseason as the Padres have had, I just don't see them quite being able to dethrone the Dodgers yet for the NL West crown. A few years later from now, I could definitely see it happening, just not this year. They're going to be followed by the Giants, Diamondbacks, and Rockies. And yeah, we know the Rockies are going to be terrible this year. And the Giants and Diamondbacks, I mean, not really much to say about them, really. So okay, now I'm going to go over who I'm picking to win the Silver Slugger and who I'm going to win the Gold Glove. So at catcher, I'm going with Yasmani Grandal and JT Realmuto. First base, Jose Abreu and Freddie Freeman. Second base, DJ LeMahieu and Jeff McNeil. Shortstop, Gleyber Torres and Trevor Story. Third base, Anthony Rendon and Nolan Arenado. Outfield, for the American League, I'm going Mike Trout, Aaron Judge, and George Springer. And for the National League, I'm going Mookie Betts, Juan Soto, and Christian Yelich. And in the American League, for DH, Giancarlo Stanton. Yeah, I'm going to be a little bit of a homer here. Hopefully he stays healthy and proves me right. If not, fine, Nelson Cruz. But I have a gut feeling it's going to be Giancarlo Stanton. But hey, I did not pick Gary Sanchez. I do think Gary Sanchez is going to bounce back this year, but I still don't see him winning the Silver Slugger over Yasmani Grandal. And for the National League, for pitcher, I'll go with Madison Bumgarner, but honestly, I don't even really know. Besides, I strongly believe that the universal DH should have still been a thing. going into this season. I really don't think pitchers should be hitting because that's not what we pay to see them do. But anyways, for the Gold Glove, I'm going with Roberto Perez and JT Realmuto. First base, Evan White and Anthony Rizzo. If Rizzo stays with the Cubs at the deadline, but if Rizzo doesn't stay with the Cubs and he's in the American League at the deadline, then I'll go with Freddie Freeman. And for second base, DJ LeMahieu. Well, I know DJ LeMahieu didn't have a good defensive season last year, but honestly, I just have a gut feeling that he'll bounce back defensively, and defense is what I was actually mainly excited to have him for when he signed with the Yankees in the first place. And then I'll go with Colton Wong, and then shortstop, JP Crawford and Francisco Lindor. Third base, Matt Chapman and Nolan Arenado. In the outfield, Aaron Judge, Luis Robert and Joey Gallo. The National League, Mookie Betts, Ronald Acuna and Trent Grisham. And for the pitchers, I'll go with Zach Greinke and Max Fried. Now for the playoffs. Let's start with the American League. For the wild card, I have the Twins beating the Rays in the wild card, and then just like always, the Yankees beat the Twins in the ALDS and the White Sox beat the Astros. I'd love for the Yankees to be able to face the Astros in the playoffs and get their revenge, but I think the White Sox got this. And then the Yankees beat the White Sox, I'll say in 6 games. Okay, I actually forgot to say how many games the ALDS is going to take. I say the Yankees sweep the Twins and the White Sox beat the Astros in 5. Now on to the wild card. I got the Padres beating the Braves actually. I mean, I could see this one going either way, but I honestly view the Padres as a team that could actually beat the Braves in the wild card round. And then we got the Dodgers beating the Padres in 5, and the Mets beating the Brewers in 4, and then the Dodgers beating the Mets in the NLCS in 6 games. And then for the World Series, Yankees Dodgers, and this is where I actually want to be wrong. I'm going with the Dodgers to repeat. I say the Dodgers are going to win in 7th, but this is the only pick that I really hope I'm wrong about. But if I have to pick and not be biased, well, hey, this is how you know that I'm not biased, right? The fact that I'm not picking the Yankees to win the World Series, but like they really have no excuses anymore to not make the World Series. They have to make it this year. But like if I have to pick, I don't see them beating the Dodgers. I think they could win the World Series though, just if I'm having to pick, no. Now maybe Yankee fans might be mad at me for not picking them to win the World Series this year. You know what? I'll take the heat for it if it comes, but at the same time, I just find it really hard to bet against the Dodgers when they won the World Series last year, and then they added Trevor Bauer while keeping Justin Turner and having a rotation of Kershaw, Walker Buehler, Trevor Bauer, and they're also getting David Price back. As much as us Yankee fans love to clown on him for how much they used to smack him around when he was with the Red Sox, still, not gonna lie, he is gonna be good for the bottom of their rotation. And also, Tony Gonsolin and Dustin May at the bottom of their rotation. And with that lineup of Mookie Betts, and we can expect Cody Bellinger and Max Muncy to be a lot better this year in a full 162 game season than they were last year when they weren't so good. And also with guys like Corey Seager, Will Smith, AJ Pollock, and they still have Kenley Jansen as their closer. Yeah, honestly, I just find it really hard to bet against the Dodgers. But again, hopefully I'm wrong and hopefully the Yankees do bring home number 28. But those are all my predictions. Let me know in the comments what you think is going to happen, what you agree with, and what you disagree with. That's the end of this video. Please remember to like the video if you still haven't yet. And if you still haven't subscribed yet, please remember to subscribe. It would mean the world to me. Please remember to hit that notification bell. Happy opening day. Great to have baseball back. And I'll talk to you next time.